Most people, when they get stuck, start looking for answers. I'm here to tell you, you need to start looking for questions. Ask better questions, get better answers. In my 16 years of being an entrepreneur, I've been a collector of great questions. I've compiled these questions from my coaches, my mentors, my friends, and I'm here to help you get unstuck by not looking for answers, but instead asking yourself these questions. So here are 9 questions to ask yourself when you feel stuck. Number 1, when you're trying to create more opportunity, ask yourself this question. What would have to be true, fill in the blank? So you go to your boss and you feel like you need a promotion. You feel stuck in your role. What would have to be true for me to get promoted? What would have to be true for me to get that next job? You're applying for that internship, something that you never dreamed would be possible. You go in there and say, what would have to be true for you to someday hire me? And of course, the person will give you the checklist. Well, you got to learn how to do this. You got to figure out how to operate a camera. You got to be able to write this blog post, whatever the role might be, and then go out and learn those things, practice the things, do them, and execute. The what would have to be true question works for anything. And it does 2 really beautiful things. One, it frames the question as a possibility. It makes it seem inevitable. So the person you're asking now sees a world where you could work for them, where you could get promoted, where you could travel across the world to do something incredible. So once you've put the reality, this question into a reality, a world where it actually could be true, the second thing it does is it gives you the roadmap. They will lay out the blueprint and how you get promoted, and how you get into this college, and how you get the internship. Right? So the what would have to be true question will not only make impossible things seem possible, but it'll give you the game plan on how to make them a reality. Number 2, if you're feeling stuck when you go into a networking event, ask somebody else this question. What are you feeling excited about? This is a much better question than asking, what do you do? Where are you from? What's your job? Those are dead-end questions. You ask somebody, what do you do for work? Oh, I'm a business coach. Stop. Then they're going to do what? Ask you, what do you do for work? And you get this sort of back and forth dead-end question that just kills the conversation. Instead, ask someone, what are you excited about right now? What lights you up? The array of answers could be from, oh, well, I read this really good book. I'm watching this documentary right now. Well, I'm excited about an upcoming family trip to Spain. Whatever it might be, you now have opened the door. Instead of closing the door, you've opened the door to an endless opportunity of great conversation, dialogue, curiosity, and maybe you'll find some commonality. So if you feel like you hate networking, you just need to ask better questions. Number 3, if you're feeling stuck when it comes to following up on sales, you're a salesperson, ask this question. Have you given up on this project? This is a really special question. I don't use it that often. I keep it in my special question bag and grab it only when really necessary. And so what you do is you just say a simple email. Hey, John, have you given up on this project? So when a lead goes dark, when a prospect goes cold, when somebody says, we want to work with you, and then you never hear back from them, drop the have you given up question. What it does is, guess what? People don't want to be quitters. People don't want to be seen as quitters. 1, they will respond to you, and 2, hopefully they'll activate again as an actual prospect client and become revenue. But even if they don't, even if they're not going to work with you, at least they will respond. And I always say when it comes to sales, the yeses will make you money, the nos will save you money. It's the maybes you got to watch out for. Number 4, if you're feeling stuck on building momentum, ask yourself this question. What one activity, when I do it, makes me feel like I win the entire day? So what this question is trying to do is identify what's the thing, that lever that you gain so much momentum and leverage when you do that thing. So for me, by far and away, it's waking up early and going for a run. If I can wake up early and go for a run or workout, exercise, whatever it might be, I kind of feel like I've already won the day. It could be 6 a.m. at that point, 7 a.m., and I've already felt like today was a great day. So ask yourself that question. If you feel like you need momentum in your life, personally, professionally, with your family, your spouse, your friends, what's one thing that when you do it, everything else just feels like a win? You can identify that activity and then you can do that as much as possible. You're going to create momentum in your personal and professional life. Number 5. Oh, I love this question. If you're feeling stuck on your goals and your dreams, wondering what the future of your life looks like, ask yourself this. What would you do if you knew you couldn't fail? Such a good question. We hold ourselves back from so many things because of fear, uncertainty, imposter syndrome. We don't think we're going to be good at it. We don't think we're capable of it. But if you knew you couldn't fail and the world was at your fingertips, what would you do? What would you do then? You're not a fear of failure. You're not afraid of embarrassment. You're not going to lose time. It's only success. Then what would you do? Because you start to rewire your brain by asking that question, and the possibilities of what your goals and dreams could be are endless. Number 6, if you're feeling stuck on creating good habits, ask yourself this question. If I repeated this day for 100 days in a row, would my life be better or worse? What we're trying to do here is identify the secret sauce or the really simple things that create momentum in your life and power forward with good habits. We probably know what things would make our lives better or worse, but the secret here is it doesn't have to be overly complicated. If you could, wake up early for 100 days, your life might look drastically different. If you could send 5 emails to potential prospects, your solopreneur business could double in revenue in 100 days. If you went to the gym and lifted weights for 100 days, your body could be transformed, right? The point here is if you could do something for 100 straight days, your life could be dramatically better. Now, of course, you could inverse that, and there's a lot of things you could do for 100 days that would make your life dramatically worse. So when identifying good hobbies, just ask yourself, what could my life look like if I did this for 100 days? All right, number 7, if you're feeling stuck in your business strategy, ask yourself this question. If somebody bought my business today, what's the first thing they would do tomorrow? Now, that's an awesome question, and I've lived through this question because I've sold my business, my old agency, Lemonly. And what I love about this question is it forces you to identify the answer that you probably are holding back on. Because the truth is here, you already know if somebody bought your business, what they would do tomorrow. Those are our blind spots or something that's holding us back in our business. So I'll give you my answer. At Lemonly, we probably should have hired another salesperson. And whether it was I didn't want to spend the money, I didn't want to have to train them, I didn't want to grow too much, I wanted to kind of manage it. I just didn't want to do all that work, but it's obvious to me that that was the thing we needed to do. So something's holding you back, you already know the answer, but if you reframe it on if someone bought your business because they are experts, they would come in and do that immediately with no emotion tied to that decision, then you know what you should do next. All right, number 8. If you're feeling stuck on making a decision about something, ask yourself this question. If I were the main character in a movie, what would the entire audience be yelling at me to do? Right? This is such a fun question. If you're in a horror film or you're watching a horror film and the person is getting ready to walk into that dark cave or that really creepy closet and everybody in the audience is like, don't do it, don't go forward, don't do that. What's that thing that's happening in your life? Sometimes we overcomplicate our decisions. We have blind spots. We get too emotional about things. We make a pros and cons list, and everyone else in our life would say, choose door number 3. Choose option B, right? Everybody in the audience would be yelling at you. Of course you should go on that trip. Of course you should apply for that job. Of course you should go back to school and learn that skill. So if you were in a movie, what would everyone be yelling at you? And the last question, number 9, is to help you get unstuck when you're setting your priorities. Ask yourself this question. If I were to die in 10 years, what would I do today? Charlie Munger once said, tell me where I'm going to die so that I never go there, right? The question here is if we know that our time is limited, if all of a sudden this decision or this diagnosis or this update, this magical date came in front of us, you would reshape and rethink everything in your life. And obviously the truth is we don't know that answer, but the truth is also it could be tomorrow. So if you knew you were going to die in 10 years, what would you do today? My guess is it's something different than you might already be doing. So when it comes to setting priorities, thinking about what you love most, who you love most, where you want to be and how you want to spend your time, how you might want to be remembered, start setting your priorities as if it is your last day. Those are 9 of my favorite questions to help you get unstuck. And remember, I am a collector of questions. So if you want to see, I have dozens in a note on my phone. So if you want to see some of the best questions, just comment question below and I'll send you the list. Also, if you want to see the 4 things I wish I would have done differently when creating my business if I were starting over today, check out that video here. And don't forget to subscribe.